All right, imagine a patient grabs their phone and they open up Google Maps, and instead of typing physical therapy near me, they just ask it a question, like a real question, like find me a physical therapist near me with evening availability that treats lower back pain. And Google's AI reads your reviews, it scans your profile, it goes to your website and decides in about 2 seconds whether you show up or not. That is not in the future. That is happening right now, and most PT clinic owners have absolutely no idea. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Jeremy on Marketing podcast. Today, we are talking about something that happened on March 12th that most clinic owners completely miss. And I'd argue it's one of the most important things to happen to local marketing for physical therapy clinics in the last handful of years. And there's been a lot of changes in the last year. We're breaking down Google's new Gemini update inside of Google Maps, what it actually means for your clinic, and two things you can do this week to make sure that you're on the right side of this thing. So let's get into it. So here's what happened. On March 12th, Google announced what it called its biggest update to Google Maps in over a decade. And at the center of it is something called Ask Maps, a new feature powered by Google's Gemini AI that fundamentally changes how people search for local business. So here's the old way of how Google Maps and Google worked for local businesses. Someone feels a tweak in their back. They go to Google, they maybe go to Google Maps, they type in physical therapy near me, they get a list, they scroll through it, maybe they click a few profiles, maybe they read a couple of reviews, and then they decide. But here's the new way of how this is working. They can now go to Google Maps, they can tap a button and ask, find me a physical therapist who has availability this week with good reviews for back pain. And Gemini doesn't give them a list of 10 options to scroll through. It analyzes your profile, your reviews, your photos, the products, the services, your attributes, everything on Google Business Profile, and it synthesizes a recommendation and it picks for them. Think about what this means. There's no more scrolling to page 2. There's no second chance. There's no real reason to track keywords. The AI just decides whether you're the answer or you're not. And here's the stat that every clinic owner should pay attention to. Google Maps already has over 2 billion monthly users. And we know that 75% of local searches end up on Google Maps. Physical therapy clinic is as local as it gets. This is exactly what Google is talking about. People are searching within a 5-mile radius of your clinic. That is your patient base. And Google just put an AI gatekeeper in front of it all. So you need to make sure SEO, this concept that maybe you're just starting to wrap your head around, or you knew you had to figure out SEO because you know how important it is, that has totally changed. Now, let me bring this specifically to your world because I think the implications here are bigger than most people realize. Page 1 of Google has been changing for years. Traditional blue link results have been getting pushed down. What's taken over the top of page 1 is Google Maps. If you search for best physical therapist near me and you look at what page 1 looks like, you're going to have Google ads on the top. You're going to have LSAs just above your Google Maps. And then you're going to have a big section of that page. It's going to be Google Maps, Google Business Profiles. That's going to be the local pack. And there's generally 3 listings that show up with the map. That's where the clicks are going. That's where patients are making their decisions. And now, inside of the already dominant Google Maps environment, Gemini is adding a conversational layer on top of everything. So the thing that was already the most important real estate in local search just got that much harder to get into, and it's only going to get harder. This is why this is like a gold mine opportunity right now. I think it's super, super important to be focusing on your local SEO. We've obviously been talking about this, and we do local SEO audits for clinics. We do dozens of them every single week. So if you're interested in that, head to the patchsystem.com, go to the goodies tab, and you can get a free SEO audit. And here's how one local SEO expert that I follow that's in the industry put it. And this is the line I keep coming back to. Google has moved from search to selection. It's not showing patients a list anymore. It's making a choice on their behalf. That changes everything because it used to be enough to just show up. Now you have to be picked, and the AI is picking based on the data inside of your Google Business Profile. So the obvious question is, well, how does Gemini decide who gets recommended? And this is where it gets really practical. And the research is pretty clear on this up until this point. And I'll put a caveat on this where I'm recording this on April 5th, May 5th, July 5th, 5th, September 5th, certainly December 5th, this is probably going to be irrelevant information. But right now, we know that this is what's working. First, lowest hanging fruit here, your Google business profile has to be complete. And again, I can't tell you how many of these local SEO audits we do, and people have not set up their Google business profile correctly. Not mostly complete, right? I filled out the main stuff, every single field, every attribute, hours, services, photos, insurance accepted, accessibility features, all of it. And here's what Ask Maps uses those attributes as direct inputs to match conversational queries. So when somebody asks, find me a PT who accepts Blue Cross and has parking, Gemini is literally scanning your profile for that data. And if it's not there, you don't match. You don't show up, and period. Incomplete profiles are, according to every SEO expert, every Google white paper that they put out, is effectively invisible to AI. They just don't trust that you're legit because you didn't even take the time to fill out that profile. And again, if you want help optimizing your Google business profile, we do this every single day for hundreds of clinics in the US. We can help you do that very, very easily. Second is your reviews. They need to be specific. This is one that surprises most people. And it's not about having the most reviews or the highest rating. I talked about this on a previous podcast not too long ago, how we know that the total number of reviews actually doesn't matter anymore. What matters is review velocity. So are you getting 4 to 6 reviews every single month, or are you just getting them in bulk because you remembered to ask people? So that's the most important thing. But now with Gemini being plugged in, your review should say things like great for back pain or easy parking or staff was incredibly knowledgeable and they got me in same week. Those are signals the AI uses to match a patient-specific question to your clinic. A generic 5-star review is great, and if it just says great place, like that is helpful. It's going to get your number up for sure, but it gives Gemini almost nothing to work with. 5 specific descriptive reviews will outperform 50 generic ones in this new environment. And again, I'm kind of guessing on this because this is so brand new, but this is what I've been reading, and this is the information that I have right now. So I want to give you 2 concrete things you can actually do right now this week to put yourself on the right side of this update. Thing number 1 is audit your Google business profile like it's the front door of your clinic, because that's what it is right now. Go in there and ask yourself, if a patient asks Google, find me a PT near me who treats rotator cuff injuries and has morning availability, would your profile give enough information for it to pick you? Do you have your services listed? Do you have photos that are less than 90 days old? Do you have your hours correct? Have you filled out every attribute field that applies to your clinic? If the answer is no, that's where you start. That's not optional anymore, and it hasn't been for the last 6 to 12 months. And thing number 2 is change how you ask for reviews. Stop asking patients to just leave a Google review. Be like, hey, if you're willing to leave us a review, it would really help other patients find us if you mentioned what you came in for, what your experience was like. Just give them a little bit of something and say, and most patients are really good about this. If they do get to the point of leaving you a review, they're going to give you a little bit more information on that. So this one, again, if you're just getting like super generic reviews just to get that number up, this is just a really easy switch for you to do. That one shift will produce reviews and it will actually work for you in this new environment, which is really important. These 2 things alone will put you ahead of 80% of PT clinics who are out there doing nothing right now and wonder why their MAPS rankings are starting to slip over the next 6 to 12 months. Because again, this is a very important time in history. You have a very small window to make and get yourself ahead of everybody else before the bigger clinics start to figure this stuff out. So here's the big picture. Google Maps has already the most important channel for patient acquisitions for PT clinics. That is full stop. Most of our clinics at Patch are seeing the biggest ROIs from ranking in the top 3 of Google Maps within a 5-mile radius of their clinic. That was true before this update. Now it's even more true because Gemini just raised the bar on what it takes to show up. The clinics that win in this environment are the ones who treat their Google business profile like the asset it is, who have a real Google review strategy. Not just, hey, can you leave us a review at checkout, but they actually have a system behind this. We've built an AI tool out that does just this for our Patch members. And to understand, the patient's decision is increasingly being made by AI before they ever visit your website or pick up your phone. And if you want to know exactly where your clinic stands right now, how your profile stacks up, what reviews are actually saying to Gemini, whether you're set up to show up in this new world, we're doing free AI SEO audits at Patch. No pressure. We go in, we look at your Google business profile, we tell you where you're ranking on Google Maps. Maps, how much search volume is actually happening, what's working for you, what's broken, and what would move the needle. Links in the show notes. You can also go to thepatchsystem.com, go to the goodies tab, sign up for that free SEO audit. It takes about 5 minutes to fill out the form. That's the Google Maps Gemini update and what it means for your clinic. The short version, the rules of local search just changed again. The clinics that pay attention now are going to have a real advantage over the ones that don't. If you want to talk about this more, come find me on Instagram, shoot me over a DM, and grab yourself that free local SEO audit.